Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning. How are we today, guys?
Good morning, Jenny. I am great. Got a great night rest, and you know what's going to happen to you, Skip.
All I know for sure is after this Michael Jordan documentary has concluded, Mr. Sharpe, you are going to have to permanently retire your LeBron GOAT mask or maybe just sell it on eBay. I don't know. Maybe you can make a couple bucks.
You know what? You know what, Skip? Now that I think about it, I stayed up all last night. I was gambling and everything and watched this virtuoso performance I put on you today.
Good.
That's what I'm going to do.
Jordan.
Okay. Keep the GOAT mask aside for right now because we've had a lot of GOAT talk on this show lately, and that is because of Michael Jordan and the incredible documentary we have been watching, and that is where we start today. We're just over halfway through the Last Dance docuseries, and we have heard story after story about how competitive Michael Jordan is and how many all-time greats consider him the GOAT. So, Shannon, through 6 episodes, how much has The Last Dance hurt LeBron's GOAT case?
For me, it's hurt it none. LeBron's resume has not changed. What they've done is that they packaged this footage of Michael Jordan over 15 years and is showing you behind the scenes. These games were played. Now, I don't know if everybody was old enough to be able to watch them. I don't know if people remember them or not, but nothing has changed. These are they're showing highlights. You remember they talked about the Knicks, how the Knicks, the last time they played the Knicks, they went down 2-0. And then they said game 3, they made it seem like Jordan had a virtuoso. Jordan was like 6 of 18. They won the game without him having an outstanding performance. So for me, nothing has changed in my mind. This is a compilation of behind-the-scene footage of Michael Jordan and The Last Dance. Obviously, they caught some footage of when he first got into the NBA and all that other stuff. But for me, Skip, the biggest thing is seeing all this, how he got started with Jordan and how his mom made a grown man take a trip, say you're going to hear them out, this presentation that Nike was going to present. His dad saying, son, you'd be a fool not to take this deal. Seeing all those things, I saw every game, basically, especially what they showed, what they're showing, these playoff games, I saw every one of them. I'm old enough to remember Michael Jordan from the 82 shot against Georgetown in New Orleans to all the way to the final shot and when he held the poles. I remember that. I also remember those 2 years. They didn't have anything about those 2 years in Washington, JD, but that's neither here nor there. For me, nothing has changed. Jordan cannot add anything else to his resume. LeBron James is still compiling his resume. So for me, it has not hurt LeBron's chances. For me, LeBron is the GOAT, and there's nothing he can do to hurt his chances.
So, obviously, for me, this quote-unquote GOAT debate was over before it started. I was there in 1998 as the columnist for the Chicago Tribune and got to see The Last Dance from the inside out. And for that matter, I was there that night in 1982 in April when I watched Michael Jordan, or as he was known then, Mike Jordan, this freshman for North Carolina, hit the last shot that launched his career as a college player. And for me, having watched nearly every game via TV that LeBron James has ever played in the National Basketball Association, I can tell you it's just not even close. But I've been telling you that for years here on Undisputed. So now, just from the sheer force of the highlights, the video highlights, the game highlights that we have been, quote unquote, forced to watch for much of 6 hours of this documentary, all of them just hitting younger viewers right between the eyes. Wow, the moves, the launch, the acrobatics, the left-handed, right-handed, the jump shooting, greatest jump shooting from mid-range you've ever seen in the history of this league. The tenacity, the force of will, the killer mentality, the attack mode. You're getting to see it just relentlessly over and over and over again. And I would think it has crushed the resolve of even the staunchest holdouts of LeBron James, the last line of defenders and believers and idolaters. I think even the younger LeBron lovers, the blindest witnesses of all, have had to sit back at some point during these first 6 hours and say, ugh. They were right all along. Jordan's just better than our guy, LeBron. We still love him, but Jordan was just better. And then Shannon, the fallout, the negativity directed toward LeBron, inspired by the documentary, has been relentlessly, crushingly overwhelming. Because just last week, we had two of LeBron's former coaches, Mike Malone, who coached him for 5 years as an assistant coach, his first go-around in Cleveland, who sat courtside in an assistant coach's seat and watched the meltdowns against Orlando in the playoffs and then against Boston his last go-around, the first time around in Cleveland, when he just disappeared in games 4, 5, and 6. Mike Malone said that on killer mentality alone, Jordan is just on another level from LeBron. And then we had his head coach for about a year and a half in Cleveland, David Blatt, his second go-around, say that it was just so much more impressive that Jordan stayed put. He won 6 for 6 championships with 6 MVPs in the finals, all in Chicago. And furthermore, Jordan was about us while he implied that LeBron was about I. I've said that from the start. And then we had Magic. We had Magic Johnson during the documentary the other night just saying flat out, Jordan's the GOAT. And then we had Charles Barkley on ESPN on SportsCenter right after the documentary saying he's just the greatest player ever played. And so Charles was saying there's no shame in me losing to him in that 93 finals, Phoenix versus Chicago, because he's just the greatest player ever played. And then we had Larry Bird, we got to see him the other night, say after 49 and 63 points scored against the Celtics, it was God disguised as Michael Jordan. And then we saw the Dream Team, that showdown, that inter-squad game. It's the greatest collection of talent ever on one floor. And they were going at it. It was for pride and for blood. And the guy who took the game over after Magic dared to insult him and call him out was Michael Jordan. And they all said he's just too good. Then we had Dennis Rodman last week saying, I could have shut him down. His game is simple. He doesn't have any moves, LeBron James. Wow, yeah. Really? Yeah. Interesting. And then we got to see Kobe the other night. What's that?
Like Dennis shut down Larry Bird when he dropped 37, 8, and 8. Larry Bird is less athletic than LeBron James. Okay. Just saying.
Okay. Well, that's a nice try. And then we got Kobe the other night on the documentary in one of his last interviews before he passed, saying that he gets offended when fans say, oh, you could have taken Michael one-on-one. And he said, what you get from me is from him. Like, I'm all him. He made me. He sort of guided me into that I am now. And then we had John Sally the other night saying, yeah, we had to come up with the Jordan rules because Jordan just wasn't human. He just wasn't human. And on and on. Well, I don't know. I could keep going, Shannon, but I feel like I'm just piling on because it's just one commentary after another. Coaches, rivals, great players. Everybody is saying he is the GOAT, and I don't know what argument you really have left.
Well, let me start with one. You said that David Blatt implied that LeBron James was about self and not about team. Now, I love how you're taking implications now, because when it was implied that Michael Jordan didn't want Isiah on the team, you said hogwash. Now, even though it wasn't explicitly stated, it was implicitly implied, but you want nothing to do with that. All those guys. Now, you hear every guy talking about nobody wanted to play with Isiah. Nobody wanted Isiah. Nobody liked Isiah. But these very same guys, all 11 of the NBA All-Star says, the Dream Team says, it doesn't matter if you like a player or not. The only thing that matters is if you're going for the common goal. So for this situation, it mattered if I like Isiah because the common goal didn't matter. It only mattered that we didn't like Isiah because it's hard for me to believe of all these championships that's been won that all teammates got along like the Dream Team did without Isiah. Now, that's the implication that I got. But since you like implications, Skip Bayless, you know for me, having seen both guys play, there are certain things you got to see with your own eyes. You know, watching NASCAR is one thing, but when you go watch it in person, to actually see how close these cars actually are and to see they're going 180, 190 miles an hour. So imagine getting on the 405. Just that wide, and you got 42 cars, and they're going 180 miles an hour, and I can reach out and touch the other guy. That's what you have to witness. Seeing LeBron on TV doesn't do him justice. You got to see the man in person. Skip, how much money do you think the USA spends on spying and intelligence on, say, let's see, Cameroon or Tunisia or Djibouti? Now, how much do you think we spend on intelligence on Russia, North Korea, China? Because they're threats. That's why Jordan fans are coming after LeBron James. That's why everybody's trying to take their pounds of flesh. They view this man as a threat. If they didn't, it wouldn't bother. Nobody takes shots at Larry Bird. Nobody takes shots at Magic Johnson. Nobody takes shots at Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Russell, Harden, Kobe. Only go James because they view him as a threat. You only try to suppress threats. You don't try to suppress the man that you know you better than and everybody know you better than. That's why you do it. That's why everybody try to take their pound of flesh from Go James. They know what he represents. They know who he is, and he's coming. He ain't done yet. He has 4 MVPs. He's working on the 5th. He has 3 titles. He's working on the 4th. Whether or not y'all like it or not, I believe he's arrived. But if he hasn't arrived in some of your mind, he's coming. He's coming.
Really? He's 37.
Yeah.
No, wait.
Don't worry about that.
That's what it is.
There you go with all that food.
So Charles Barkley the other day just shrugged off LeBron as the 7th best player ever. That's interesting.
That's okay.
Is that a threat to Michael Jordan? I don't think so. He's only a threat to me because of you. The only reason I'm even returning fire here is because you are my partner on Undisputed since September of 2016. And on a daily basis, I have to watch you wear a goat mask and make this silly, inane case, this shot full of holes case that LeBron James is actually better than Michael Jordan. And so, because I know you are the leader of the blind witnesses, and they are still blind, I need to help open their eyes here. And I'm happy this documentary came along because all the people who count, the Larry Birds and the Magic Johnsons, although I shouldn't speak them in plural, there's only one Larry Bird and one Magic Johnson, they know, everybody who knows, they know that Michael was the GOAT, and it's not even close. It's shameful. It's disrespectful, it's irreverent, it's blasphemous to even put the name of LeBron James in the same sentence with Michael Jordan. And yet, what was Michael's fear about this documentary is that some people were going to wake up and not like him as much, that he was going to come off as a horrible person.
Whoa, Skip, hold on, time out. Everybody's been telling me Michael Jordan didn't care what people thought of him. Now he cares? This is what I don't understand. The very thing Michael Jordan was is what you criticize LeBron for, being selfish, only thinking about himself. But now all of a sudden, that's a great attribute to have now that Jordan had it. But when you think LeBron has that, he's selfish. All he cares about is self. He's bleep, he's pooping on his team. Y'all need to stop this because anytime LeBron has a trait, oh, that's bad. Come to find out Michael Jordan got that trait. It's good that Mike had it, but it's bad that LeBron has it. I ain't gonna let y'all off the hook like that today. I heard Magic say it. Magic said this. You don't always have to get along with your team, but as long as you're going for the common goal, which is to win that title and win the game, you should be willing to set aside differences. Nobody was willing to set aside differences with Isiah, knowing that he should have been on that team, knowing you got a hole in that man's resume because y'all petty, because y'all mad. You know why you're mad? Because he can say something nobody else can. I bust Magic head, I bust Larry head, I bust Michael's head. Isiah did that at 6'1", $170. Nobody else can say they did it. Nobody else can say they did it. He took them down. He did that. Okay. And that's why they mad at him.
I love it when I have you backed into a corner. You constantly have to change the subject and make it about somebody else. This is not about Isiah Thomas. We're going to do a whole topic a little later in the show on Isiah Thomas. And I will quickly throw a quote at you from Magic out of the book that he did with Larry Bird. He said nobody wanted Isiah on that team. Isiah, as you have said on this show, was just hard to get along with. He tended to rub people the wrong way beneath this smile, and maybe the greatest smile ever. It's right up there with Magic's smile. Beneath the smile, he was just difficult to get along with. We all know that, and we still love Isiah. This isn't about Isiah, but my point was, Jordan at age 57 had some concern that if he signed off on this documentary and it touched all the bases, and we saw 2 big bases get touched this past Sunday night, that was gambling and lack of activism, taking political stances, something Jordan did not do, did not want to do. Those 2 things could turn him into a horrible person. And again, do they bother me? They might hurt Michael's image a little bit, but it doesn't hurt the GOAT argument. In fact, all that we've seen, his rage to win, he can't turn off his competitive juices after hours, that just contributes to the GOAT argument to me. And the lack of political activism, he's just saying all I was a basketball player. Well, so does that hurt the GOAT argument? No, that doesn't hurt it. You could argue that even helps it. And in the end, we saw the teaser coming up from coming up on Sunday night is the fact that he did punch Steve Kerr in the eye after Kerr was getting on him and shoved him, and he threw back, and then he also punched Will Perdue, who was setting hard picks on him in practice. And off the Kerr incident, Michael got thrown out of practice. Okay, does that make him a horrible person? I don't know. It doesn't make him a great guy, but does it hurt his GOAT argument? No, you could argue it actually helps it.
Hold up, Skip. Hold up, time out. LeBron James says we're top heavy as bleep. And you say, that's LeBron, that's a bad example to set because you said the other guys that's not you, Kyrie, and Kevin Love, you basically saying they're worthless. Michael Jordan punches a guy in the eye twice. And you say, oh, that makes him a great leader. Man, what am I missing? What am I missing?
What would Shannon Sharpe have done under the same circumstance? If somebody on the other side in an inter-squad scrimmage kept coming at you, and you warned them, and you said, don't do that again. Don't blindside block me or whatever the case may be. Don't hit me late. Don't do that again. And you run another play, and they do it again. What is old Shay Sharpe going to do? He's going to knuckle down. He's going to throw down. Somebody's going to get punched.
Okay. Right, but here's the thing, though, Skip. I'm not saying Michael didn't have the right to do that, but all I'm saying, you can't say that made him a great teammate, and when LeBron says we're top heavy as bleep, saying that makes him a bad teammate, that's all I'm saying. You're trying to say a guy punching one guy is that shows leadership. The other guy saying that we're top heavy shows poor leadership. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
Well, you just said it, and the truth is, the Bulls were afraid of Michael Jordan. And when he said, follow me, boy, they followed because he led. I got to see the other night, we got to see a replay on ESPN of Game 5, the closeout game 2014, when my Spurs blew LeBron and company off the finals floor by a record finals margin. And I saw the pregame huddle in which LeBron said, follow me. They did jump up 22-6. Then they lost the game by 17. Michael didn't lose games by 17. He didn't lose big games, key games, sink or swim games by 17 points. It just didn't happen. So every time we brought up LeBron in this conversation, yeah, go ahead.
But see what you're doing, Skip. You say now, oh, sink or swim games. Michael Jordan has lost playoff games by double digits, by more than a point. He's lost playoff games by 10, 15, 20 points. Oh, but because they weren't sink or swim. So now we're putting value on losses. That only happens with Michael Jordan. Nobody else gets value placed on losses but two people. And I've only known those two people since I started working with you. That's one Michael Jordan, and the other is Tom Brady. Because if you play outstanding in a loss, oh my God, did you see that Herculean effort? You lost. Everybody else you lose, you lose. It's simple as that. Go home. Not Michael, not Tom Brady. Skip, baby, y'all need to stop this. LeBron is not going away. Y'all trying to quell this uprising. But we coming. I believe we already have arrived. We already here. But we got enough of these LeBronites out here. We coming. Y'all can't quell this uprising. We are going to overthrow the throne. Skip, Bayless, you can pull up the Great Wall like they did in China, but you know what? The mongrels are coming. We crossing that wall. We coming over, bruh.
The Mongols? Genghis Khan, Mongol.
Yeah, we coming. Yeah, we coming.
You know what? You already went, because when LeBron had the audacity the other night to tweet that he knew what it was like to go through struggles and get to hold and cradle that championship trophy, then he went 10 fire emojis. He allowed me to knock down the wall and say, okay, let's look at LeBron's struggles, his epic struggles, because they were epic fails.
Yes.
Michael's struggles were just epic, period. LeBron failed miserably against the Boston Celtics that last playoff series before he took his talents to South Beach. He disappeared so badly in games 4, 5, and 6, his owner accused him of quitting. Nobody ever accused Michael Jeffrey Jordan of quitting. It just didn't happen. Then he turns right around the next year, his first go-around with the Heat, the Heatles. And they're playing the Dallas Mavericks in the finals. And they're up 2-1. And in games 4, 5, and 6, LeBron disappeared, melted down. Chosen one became the frozen one, unlike any superstar I've ever seen in any big game situation or setting. It was the most epic fail of all. That ended the GOAT debate right there, because Jordan has none of those on his resume. Everybody who kept beating him, Celtics or Pistons, they're talking about him like he's God. He's God. He's not human. We're so fortunate to have gotten by him. Nobody said he quit. He melted down. He shrank. He shriveled up.
Skip, let me tell you what they said. They said they accused Noah of drunkenness, but he got the art. It doesn't matter what they accuse you of. Accusation is not fact. Accusation is not true. There have been a lot of people that have lost careers, lost livelihoods because of accusation. The mere accusation in and of itself is not enough. We need to get away from accusation. We need to have some concrete facts. But see, what you're doing, you're trying to say, well, Michael Jordan, he lost it. No, Skip. If I drop out of Harvard, you drop out of some other school. Skip, you dropped out. It doesn't matter. Oh, it was prestigious. That's Harvard. You quit. So he got beat. You need to stop trying to conflate, saying, well, because he got beat by Boston, that made it better. He got beat by the bad boy Pistons, that made it better. No, it didn't. What you're trying to do, you and others like you, are trying to suppress what we are, who we are, but you can't do it. You got too late of a start, Skip. That was the thing. You remember like Achilles, when you were supposed to throw him away, you didn't. And now we come back and we took it over. We take it over. Hostile takeover, Skip. Big bank take little bank. You know how it worked. You remember in the recession? All the little banks got taken over by the big banks. And what you did, you made the bigger banks more powerful because we engulfed those smaller banks. So we gobbling up Magic, we gobbling up Larry, we gobbling up Isaiah, we gobbling up KD, and before you know it, we gonna be too strong for anybody to say anything about us. Big bank took little
So
bank.
last night, to sum this up, I got to watch the great Mark Jackson, guy I know, on SportsCenter talking about playing against Jordan, Game 7, Pacers versus Bulls, obviously, in 1998. I was there sitting courtside. Mark Jackson has been sitting courtside for many of LeBron's games, many of his finals games. So he's gotten to see it up close and personal. And he just flat out said, greatest player who ever played was Michael Jordan. I'm sorry, Shannon, not close. Game over. You have danced your last dance with your GOAT debate.
I hate to break that up, guys, because clearly Shannon got going there. Skip, you too. We will get back to it another time. No mercy. Welcome back to Undisputed. Kellen Watkins of the Dallas Morning News is calling the current Cowboys offense the most Dak-friendly it can get after selecting CeeDee Lamb in the first round of the draft. That didn't stop Jerry from signing Andy Dalton as a backup to potentially use as leverage against Dak in negotiations. So, Shannon, with all you've seen this offseason, how do you think the Dak negotiations end now?
They're still heading for the franchise tag. This notion, man, Jenny, people crack me up. This notion that Jerry Jones selecting CeeDee Lamb with the number 17 overall pick in the 2020 draft is going to convince Dak Prescott he's done less his first 4 years, now take less money. Dak like, okay, I really appreciate that, Jerry, but still I want my money. I want my money. I'm confused. Somebody needs to help me out. I like CeeDee Lamb, but they talking about CeeDee Lamb like he Randy Moss. Really? I missed it. I saw a lot of Oklahoma games. I did not see Randy Moss out there when I watched CeeDee Lamb. I'm sorry. Now, he might turn out to be better than Randy Moss, but by every metric, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone, regardless of whether they cheer for Green Bay, whether they cheer for the Bears, whether they cheer for Miami or whomever. Randy Moss is one of the top 3 receivers of all time. And people are talking about CeeDee Lamb like he's Randy Moss. Oh, did you see? Oh, this Cowboys offense is about to take off. Really? Now, they had 2 receivers go over 1,000 yards last year, Amari Cooper and Gallup. The other receiver that went to Houston, Skip, Randall Cobb, had 800 yards. So let me say, okay, now Zeke's gonna bounce back and gonna have an extra 500 yards. So that's gonna give him 1,900 yards rushing. Amari Cooper gonna have an extra 300 yards. That's gonna give him 1,500. Michael Gallup gonna have another 1,400 yard receiving season. And they're saying that CeeDee Lamb's gonna have 1,400. How? Do you know how many yards that is? So can we slow down? Dak Prescott is not going to Skip. Dak Prescott doesn't see his value in other players saying, well, we got Amari Cooper and we got Gallup and we got this guy, so you take less money so we can pay everybody else. That's not how guys, Tom Brady thought like that. Let me take that back. Tom Brady thought like that. And at the end of the day, Tom said, after all I've done, this is what you reward me with. These new guys, Skip, nobody since Tom has thought like that. Drew Brees says, give me my money. Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, Eli, Aaron Rodgers, all these guys, Russell Wilson. My homeboy is not going to think, well, I need to save some money for Travis Kelce. I'm going to need 40 to 45 million. I'm going to need 100 plus guarantee with a $200 million contract. That's what's going to happen. So CeeDee Lamb has no bearing on Dak Prescott. I believe Dak is headed for playing on that franchise tag because he has a number. He and his agent have a number in mind that he wants the Cowboys to get to, and I don't believe they're there yet.
Nobody that I know of, but I don't read all my Twitter responses like somebody I see through the camera here. Nobody I know of has compared CeeDee Lamb to Randy Moss. I'm having a hard time, as are you, that he's even being forced to wear 88, which might suggest he's Michael Irvin or Drew Pearson or even Des Bryant. The point is that it was a real possibility that Amari Cooper was going to sign with the Washington Redskins. I believe they offered at least as much, if not more money to Amari to sign with them. So you could have been down your number 1 receiver in yards caught last year, Amari, And you were already down Randall Cobb, who got overpaid to go to Houston because they'd given away DeAndre Hopkins to Arizona. So it's possible that if you went defense with your first pick in the draft, which was a distinct possibility, what if somebody had taken CeeDee Lamb above number 17? Well, it's possible you wouldn't have Amari or CD right now. The point is, yeah, they're loaded at wideout right now. Would anybody argue that? Could you make a case they might, with their top 3 receivers, they might have right up there with anybody in the league with 3 receivers. We'll have to see how CD produces. I told you before the draft, he's the best receiver in the draft. I told you he's a number 1 receiver, and if he rises into that number 1 slot next year with Amari as the 2 and Gallup as the 3, yeah, that's firepower. Go ahead.
So Skip, you make it so were they not loaded last year? You just told me last week they led the league in yards. They were one of the few teams that averaged 400 yards and won their games by at least 10 points. You told me that. So were they not loaded last year? So how many more yards? How many more catches? Randall Cobb had 55 catches, 800 yards. How many more catches, how many more yards is he going to give you than that?
Okay, here's the point and the question. Do you think CeeDee Lamb will be better than Randall Cobb ultimately in this league? I say he'll be better than Randall Cobb the first day he steps on an NFL field. That's how great he was in Oklahoma. That's how he projects.
Skip, you do know Randall Cobb went to the Pro Bowl, right?
I know all about it. I liked him last year. I thought he had a terrific year.
Yeah.
What are you going on record? I need you to go right now. I need you to go on record. Randall Cobb will ultimately be a better pro receiver than CeeDee Lamb. Help me out. I need you to go ahead and dig in concrete. Will you?
All I'm saying, Skip, listen, all I'm saying, Skip, is that before we anoint the next Randy Moss, we can't overlook what Randall Cobb did last year. Skip, he was unbelievable in Green Bay. Now, I'm not saying that Randall Cobb, but considering what had happened, he had been injured the last couple of years with concussion, had a knee injury. For him to come in, Skip, and he was the third option to give them 55 catches, to give them 800 yards, with Gallup outside, Zeke in the backfield. My only thing is, Skip, this goes to what you said about Dak signing. Skip, Dak is not saying, okay, y'all got me another weapon, so since y'all gonna need to pay him, I'm gonna take $5 million less. That's not how he looks at it. He's like, thank you, but I still want my money because I performed before he got here. That was the question.
Okay, now, my answer to Jenny's question is this. I now feel far more hopeful that Dak Prescott will sign with Jerry Jones sooner than later and not play under the franchise tag. The reason for that is not CeeDee Lamb, it's Andy Dalton. That was the steal of the year so far. Wait a second, Dallas got a guy that everybody had slotted to go to Belichick? Even you said on Friday's show, oh, he'll go to New England. Jerry got him for $3 million base. 7 total if he maxes out his incentives. That's incredibly great for a guy who won an average of 10 games a year his first 5 years in this league for the Cincinnati Bengals. He is now the backup / starting quarterback and the catalyst for this negotiation because I believe this will motivate Dak to make a deal, to compromise a little bit. And this deal will end up far closer to Jerry's final offer and current offer than to what Dak has been holding out for. Because Dak is going to see the handwriting on the locker room wall that, wait a second, Jerry now has a viable alternative. Cooper Rush was not viable. So you had Jerry Jones dead to rights. Jerry didn't want to go into the first couple of real games with Dak holding out and have to gamble on Cooper Rush, trying to win a couple of real games. Andy Dalton, Jerry will not flinch to go forward with Andy Dalton. So again, I'm hopeful that Dak will see the light. He will swallow a little pride. He will say,
Why Jerry can't swallow pride?
because he doesn't need to. Because I told you from the start, and I'm right about this, and I will be proven right about this, Dak and his new agent are asking for out-of-bounds money, completely unrealistic, outrageous money that nobody in his or her right mind, if they knew the real number that Dak and his agent were asking for, holding out for, would say, yeah, Jerry should do that. Jerry is notorious for overpaying players, but this demand is so out of bounds that even Jerry Jones is saying, I can't do that. So he has finally drawn a line in the sand. And he's saying, no, I have a responsibility to Cowboy Nation and my fans and my football team. I can't wreck the salary cap for a young quarterback who's been very good, but has not yet been great. He's played 3 playoff games and he's 1-2 in the playoffs. Okay. So you have to pay him very good money, but you can't pay him beyond Patrick Mahomes' money. Now, Andy Dalton gives you the out. He gives you the fail-safe. He gives you the safety net of saying, Dak, I'm going to go this far. I'm going to make you, for now, the highest paid quarterback, but we're not going to try to project and pay you even more than Mahomes will ultimately get. But if you dig in, if you, quote unquote, want to go to war with us, we've got an exit strategy. We've got Andy Dalton, who's made 3 Pro Bowls and taken 4 teams to the playoffs in Cincinnati. That will work. I'm good with that. As a Cowboy diehard, I'm okay with that plan B. I want plan A, and I still believe plan A is going to happen because of Andy Dalton. But if plan B has to kick in, I'm good with it because Andy Dalton could win 10 games with this team. He could get this team to the playoffs.
You keep saying that Dak is trying to go to war, but you guys started this war. When you went up there at the Combine 2 years ago and said Dak was going to need to give me a discount before you even started negotiating. So you already, how long? You going to fire in the DMZ zone, and then you're going to talk about, Dak wants war. Dak wants fair compensation. The question is, Skip, that I have for you is this out-of-bounds money on the old contract or the new contract the NFL is about to sign with this 17th game and this new TV contract? Is it out of bounds for that, or is it out of bounds by the old standard? Because the old contract does not matter.
The new standards. It's way out of bounds. Yes.
No. But see, everybody keeps saying he's asking for out of bounds money. They keep putting that out there. I know that's the Cowboys putting that out there. But like I said, I ain't gonna even get into all that, all this and all that. But that's neither here nor there. Now, but I know they feed you information. They feed you. I get it. Calvin Watkins get a little bit here and there. Clarence Hill Jr. get a little bit here and there. I ain't gonna get into all these numbers. All I'm saying, when they tell me how much is fully guaranteed, I'm not talking about being the highest paid. I'm not talking about you're gonna get another $15 million at the start of the league year. I'm not gonna talk about you got $30 million, $35 million guaranteed against injury. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when that man put Dakota Prescott on that contract, he got $80 million, he got $90, he got $100 million coming his way. Not all that auxiliary stuff. You know, ancillary, you know how they do the contract. They got like 55 pages and only one page matter. The page that says, hey, you got X amount of money fully guaranteed. Skip, y'all made this contentious because they should have never got to the end. I'm not giving you a discount when you made me go to war and I come back home and now you want me to say, pat me on the back and says, okay, now give me a discount. That's not going to happen, Skip. That man had to navigate minefields. 4 years. Go ahead.
While you were on the way to war, you had to keep stopping off to make another national TV commercial, and then another one. You're up to 12 national TV commercials. I don't know how much you make from that, but it's a lot. It's as much as any other quarterback gets. Maybe, I don't know if Brady will start doing more. I don't know if Mahomes will keep doing more. I don't know, but Dak is right at the top of the list in number of national TV endorsement contracts. It's only because he is the quarterback of America's team. That's what happens. That's part of the package. That's a perk of your existence because you happen to get picked in the 4th round by the Dallas Cowboys. You have to factor that into your earning power.
First of all, I want you and Jerry Jones to stop pocket watching what Dak got going on. Second of all, let me ask you a question. If you're the Dallas Cowboys quarterback and you win on average, say, like 7 games, 5 games a season, how many of those national commercials? Because remember, Michael Jordan said it best. Michael Jordan said, that was my best selling point. Yeah, Gatorade and Hanes and all that other stuff was well and good. But if I'd averaged 2 points and 3 rebounds, ain't no Nike, ain't no Gatorade, ain't no Hanes. If Dak was not putting up those numbers, if Dak was not taking teams to playoff, he's not getting those national ads. And everybody, hold on. Is Baker Mayfield getting commercials? He's in Cleveland. So if you're the quarterback, you're going to get an X amount of commercials. Now, if you win, you're going to get even more. So stop making it seem like only Dallas Cowboy quarterbacks have national ads, generate revenue outside of football. Stop that, Skip Bayless. You know that's not true.
Okay. Do not forget, the Dallas Cowboys have the second most Pro Bowlers over the last decade in the NFL. That means they have drafted extraordinarily well, thanks to Jerry Jones, who did it again. He won the draft. He did get CeeDee Lamb, and then he drafted 5 other players who were steals at the slots that he took them. Because of that, that has to appeal to Dak's winning pride. He has to see what's there and say, man, we got a chance to win it all next year, thanks to Jerry and the personnel department and the people who have helped put pieces around Dak. The pieces are in place. He's not playing for the Bengals. He would have a harder time living up to those national ads if he were the Bengals quarterback. But he's not. He's got a dynamite offense just packed full of weapons. Zeke and those receivers and Blake Jarwin and maybe a top 5 offensive line that over the last 3 years has been a top 1 or 2 offensive line. Those things have helped put Dak in position to get all those national TV ads. So I'm sorry. He's been really blessed to be the quarterback of the Cowboys, and it's time for him to compromise just a little bit and get this deal done.
I love how now you talk about this offensive line is going to be top 5, and after every week you come in here and say they got the golden tails kick. But let me ask you something. You said something very interesting that caught my attention. I was trying to listen to everything you say, but this really perked my ears. I felt like I was a German shepherd. My ears perked up in there. I was like, what's going on here? You said the Cowboys have the second most Pro Bowlers in the last decade. Is that what you told me?
Yeah.
With no Super Bowl and no NFC Championship game? What the hell going on, Skip?
Mm-hmm. Jason Garrett, he's gone. Coach Deadweight, he's out. Coach Clapp, he's gone.
Don't do that.
Don't do that,
Skip. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Now that's all Jason Garrett. All these guys. Now, you just told me Jerry do all this drafting. Jerry get all the credit, and Jerry got none of the blame. But it's going to be very, very interesting. I'm going to see who y'all going to blame this year. Jason Garrett gone. Jason said, y'all can't blame me. But you know what? They're going to say, what you going to do when you start losing? You're going to say, Mike McCarthy got to get him out of that loser's mentality that Jason Garrett left. I already know what y'all going to do. I already know.
Hey, worst case, maybe Andy Dalton makes his 4th Pro Bowl.
No mercy.
After the 2019 season, Odell Beckham Jr. underwent core muscle surgery to fix a sports hernia issue that had been lingering the entire year. Now the receiver is predicting a big year. Odell said, quote, I would honestly say this is probably going to be one of my best seasons. Bigger, stronger, faster. This is my time. So Shannon, do you believe OBJ will have one of his best seasons ever?
Skip, there is no doubt in my mind that there was something nagging Odell last year to the extent of his injury. I really don't know. He had surgery, so obviously that was a part of the problem. That was some of the reasons for probably why his production dropped off. But Skip, what have I said? If they see 13 out there and he has a Browns jersey on and he got Beckham Jr. on the back, what do they expect? They expect you to go out there and be 100%. And I've said that before, and that's the tough part about being a professional athlete is that when you set a standard for yourself, Odell has set a standard for himself. Whether you like his petty behavior or his petulant attitude at times, he's set a standard for himself. He's a damn good receiver. And that's the expectation that people expect every time he steps on the field. And when he doesn't, he's going to get criticized. Now, I believe Odell was hurt. I really do. But nobody cares because you were out there. And I do believe it doesn't, let me take that back, Skip. It does not matter how well Odell performed. It only matters what the quarterback that's throwing him the ball, how well does he perform? Is that guy going to grow up? Is he going to mature? Is he going to take the next step? Is he going to take a step from his first year, his rookie year? Because the second year was terrible. Maybe he started reading his press clippings. He started to, everybody that said something that was negative about Baker, he had to find a way to try to get it in an interview or somehow. So is he going to take the next step? Odell can still be great. He's still technically sound. He's tremendous run after the catch. He has tremendous hands. And now once he realized that he's not going anywhere anytime soon, now maybe he can embrace where he is, Skip. But when you're injured or you're hurt, nobody cares because they're not in your body. All they do is see 13 running on the field, and they want to know why he's not getting open and why he's not catching touchdowns like we remember him from the past.
I agree with everything you just said, times 10. It's hard for me to give Odell the injury pass for last year. If he had surgery, he was hurt. We didn't hear about it last year. He said he tried to keep it quiet, but he's also suggesting in this latest post that he had a shoulder problem and a back problem and something wrong with his arm. So he says he was just beat all to hell last year. And that's why, according to Odell, the stats were career lows across the board for his first go round with his best friend / soulmate, Jarvis Landry, in Cleveland, playing for a quarterback that he loves in Baker Mayfield. They socialized together. Well, now we know one thing for sure. All that rampant trade speculation right before the draft, I believe it was out there. I believe there was some discussion, Cleveland to Minnesota, about sending Odell to the Vikings. But now we know why it couldn't have happened, because Odell is coming off a surgery. I don't even know if the Browns knew about it. I don't know if they authorized or participated in it. Knowing Odell, he might have just gone rogue and gone his own direction, gone solo with the surgery. But in the pandemic we're in, leading to the quarantine we're in, obviously no team could have a hands-on physical to pass him and to be able to validate the fact that he's 1,000% now, that he's coming along swimmingly in his rehab from this surgery for this torn adductor muscle. It's like a sports hernia, according to Odell. Mm-hmm. So, Shannon, we know what happened last year. To a fault, Baker Mayfield was trying to force the ball to Odell. Next year, I don't see how that's going to happen, because I can make the case that next year Odell's going to run the risk of being the afterthought in this offense. They made a sweet move. They went out and got from Atlanta Austin Hooper, who's a Pro Bowl caliber tight end. Njoku will be back from his fractured wrist. Yes. So now you got Hooper and Njoku. They're really good at tight end. And obviously you just went and got 2 tackles, Wills and Conklin. So now you've shored up, Baker's pass protection that he did not have last year. Nick Chubb was a stallion last year. Go ahead.
Skip, let me chime in right quick. Stefanski came from Minnesota, right? Do you know who he learned under? Gary Kubiak. You know what that offense do, Skip? They run the ball. Kyle Shanahan runs that same offense. Sean McVay runs the same offense. Basically, everything they do is set up off the run game. That's why you see Dalvin Cook. You saw Kirk Cousins take another step. They were able to run the football. So they're going to try to run the football first. Yes, they want to protect Baker Mayfield with Conklin and Wills, but they're going to run the football, and they want to play action off that run. So if Odell think he going to catch 150 balls like Mike Thomas caught, and Jarvis going to catch 120, that's not happening.
Okay, so Nick Chubb was outstanding last year. Kareem Hunt's still on this roster. He's going to get some touches. And obviously Jarvis is still there, and Jarvis was their leading receiver last year, just as he's been seasons before. So I don't know. Odell's got a lot of reproving to do. And I don't know if Odell's ego is going to be able to take the beating of becoming the third or fourth option to both Chubb and the tight ends and Jarvis. Might be the fourth option. It could be a lethal option. He could every once in a while get behind you and catch a big deep ball. But he's not going to lead this team in touches or catches or productivity. It's just not there. This is a different football team than it was last year. It was Odell or almost bust last year. Now it looks like they're going in a whole different direction. And I agree with your point about Kevin Stefanski. Brave new world for Odell Beckham Jr.
Well, Skip, what got them in trouble last year is what they tried to throw the ball too much. You see Nick Chubb dominating in the run game. And then all of a sudden, they're trying to throw the ball when he's getting 10, 15 yards a clip. And they're like, well, bro, what you doing? Why are you trying to throw the ball? But see, Skip, remember, that's what Freddie K said. Oh, we going to keep everybody happy. Well, in the process of Chubb running the football down people's throat, you got to keep Jarvis and Odell happy. So we get away from that and we start throwing the ball because I promise you guys, I'm going to keep you happy. No, you better keep running the football and keep trying to win ball games. Forget being happy. You got to be happy with winning the games. And receivers, once receivers understand they have value other than catching passes and touchdowns, they'll be okay. Because, look, everybody wants to Skip. That's what you're a receiver. You want to catch the ball. I get that. But there'll be times that the running game is going to be the way to win the game, and you're not going to catch 10 balls for $152 touchdown. It might be 5 or 6 for 60 yards, but you might have to knock some people off the running back down the field, and he has a big day. Nick Chubb should have won the rushing title this year, Skip, but they got away from it. Nick Chubb should have had 1,900 yards, Skip, because you remember, Skip, there were games, remember that game against New England, Skip? And we thought, well, it was just because they were behind and New England just like, okay, let him run the ball. No, he could really run. And Freddie K got away from that trying to, I got Baker, I got the number 1 draft pick. I got to let him throw. I got Odell and Jarvis. I got to let them catch. Nah, bro, you got to win the game.
So we saw last year Belichick made another mistake because he should have taken Chubb over Sony Michel. And I'm with you that Sony Michel became he became the lead dog here, man. He was the one. He should have been featured more. He will be next year. Last year was a can't-win proposition for Baker Mayfield. You can't keep both those receivers happy after you've lost your tight end Njoku, and they can't protect you from the tackle spots. You're going to lose, and they lost a bunch of games. They had one moment in the sun against Baltimore, but they often play the Ravens well within the division. Other than that, it was a lost year, and everybody thought they were going to be the it team, and they were the something else IT team.
Yeah. That's what the team they were, Skip. Exactly. They were exactly what the elephant left on the showground, and we all know what he left on the showground, Skip. But I think the thing is, Skip, with Chubb, is that I thought Chubb was a better back than Sonny Michel coming out of college, Skip. Michel was the change of pace guy, but if you look at it, Skip, Chubb was the guy that was the banger, was the guy that was getting those run yards. But I believe they should feature, and I believe they will, Skip. Stefanski, coming out of that Gary Kubiak style system, will run the football. Don't be surprised if Chubb leads the league in rushing this year.
Yep, and Odell's going to have to eat a big old slice of humble pie next year.
No mercy.
Yesterday on Sirius XM NFL Radio, Eli Manning predicted that Tom Brady might get off to a bumpy start in Tampa. Eli said, quote, I think it's going to be tough for him. Just the fact that he can't be doing everything he wants to be doing with the team and getting ready. And guys, according to Fox Bet, the Bucs win total for the year is currently set at 9.5 games. So Shannon, does Eli have a point here about Brady?
He does. For the very first time, Skip, in 20 years, he's going to hear new verbiage. He's going to hear different calls. Now, everybody runs the same route. We just call them different things. But the verbiage, the terminology is going to be different. Now, everything is going to be condensed. Skip, we all believe that the season's going to take place. But when does OTA start? When does minicamp start? So is everything's going to be condensed, going to be compressed. And so we all know Tom Brady is a stickler. He likes to rehearse. He likes to go over things. He likes to throw with his receivers. How soon, when would that happen? So if things get compressed, everything gets shortened, and then we go to the season, I can see what Eli's saying. Yes, he can get off to a bumpy start. He didn't say he was going to struggle all year, but he's saying, considering that new terminology, a new place, new coaches, unfamiliar setting, and the condensed OTA mini camp or training camp, yes, I can see Tom getting off to a bumpy start. And so I do agree with Eli. Not to say that this is going to carry on throughout the course of the season, but it might be slow. It might be tough sledding because this is new for him. I would have less concerns if he was in New England, Skip, for the simple fact he knows that. He knows Edelman. He's thrown in N'Keal Harry. But this is a total different situation. And so I agree with Eli. Tom could be in for a bumpy ride to start the season.
So can I just get this out in the middle of our virtual table today?
Sure.
The Manning brothers do not like Tom Brady. The Manning brothers are resentful and jealous of Tom Brady, dare I say, because the older brother, Peyton, the other day on Denver radio, we talked about it here on Undisputed, made a sarcastic remark about after Tampa had signed Rob Gronkowski, now they're going to win the Super Bowl for sure. Okay. You don't have to hate.
Oh, my goodness.
You could just sort of deflect, avoid, you maybe not answer the question. You don't have to take a sarcastic shot at Tom in Tampa. And now Eli, who never says anything about anybody, for Eli, this is like hellfire and damnation to say it's going to be a bumpy ride for Tom Brady. He's never criticized anybody in his life.
But again, this is what I don't understand. Skip, what I don't understand with you is that when people take shots at LeBron, you love it. You standing on the table. Did you hear what David Blatt said? Did you hear what Charles Barkley said? Did you hear what this was said? The moment somebody offers an honest assessment about Tom Brady, they're hating. Eli owned Tom Brady. He kept the man from getting the goals. Why Eli want to hate?
Eli lucked up twice against Tom Brady. Tom should have won both those games.
No.
Yes, he did. Eli got away with completing the luckiest pass in the history of the Super Bowl, a pass and a prayer in which he basically put his hand over his eyes and threw it as far as he could into the dangerous middle of the field. And David Tyree, like the sixth receiver on his roster, caught it in his face mask over Rodney Harrison. I've never seen anything like it before, and yet Belichick's defense once again spit the bit under pressure. 2 minutes left in the game. They allowed the game-winning touchdown. Okay, so here's what's happening. Peyton Manning is now 44 years of age, about a year older than Tom is, and he'll play at 43. And I think Peyton, like a lot of ex-players, is looking at Brady shattering the mold, playing at 43 for a really good team that has a chance to win next year. And that mold shattered Peyton because when it was time to stop, he finally just had to stop. It was historically predictive of when he was going to have to stop, and he did. And Eli now is 39 years of age, and it looks like the game might just have passed him by, and he might have played his last NFL down at age 39. And they're looking at Tom at 43, surrounded by 2 Pro Bowl receivers and 2 very good tight ends on top of another tight end he just added. And this is my problem with what Eli said yesterday. He did not bring up Rob Gronkowski. Neither did you. All of a sudden, Tom's got his security blanket. The receiver he has trusted the most under fire, big game pressure situations, is not Edelman, it's Gronkowski. We saw what happened in the last Super Bowl that Tom won 2 Super Bowls ago. The big passes were caught by Gronk to start and finish that game-winning drive in the middle of the fourth quarter of a tie game. And Rob Gronkowski is now a Buc. So if you miss OTAs and you miss most of training camp, he's got one guy who knows him and fits him like 2 gloves, and it's Gronk. And Gronk will be there for him in the first couple of games, so I think that will get him over the hump. I don't think it will be as bumpy a ride as you think because of that guy and those two Pro Bowl receivers who are both, especially Mike Evans, they're just go up and get the ball kind of receivers, especially Evans. When in doubt, I believe Tom could just throw him some jump balls and it will work. This team is loaded on offense and I think on defense as well. It has the 5th best odds on Fox Bet to win the Super Bowl. And for a while, it was the 4th best odds, just above New Orleans. Now it's just a tick below New Orleans at 13-1 versus 12-1. So it's all good. And I don't know why Peyton and Eli can't just say, way to go, Tom. Congratulations. Good luck to you. But you got a sweet situation down there, and it should be a lot of fun. That's what they should say.
No, they shouldn't, Skip. They should offer an honest assessment of what they believe is going to transpire. Skip, we got to get out of this notion. Anybody that says something that's not praises, that's not bouquet of roses at Tom, is not hating. And you can study all the film you want, Skip. If that was the case, if you didn't need to practice, why does people practice then? Why not just study the tape, go in the meeting room, just study, and go home, I'll see you on Sunday? Of course, you practice. There's a reason why people install practice, Skip. That's all Eli said. No one can say anything about Tom Brady without hating. Skip, all I know is Eli said, I got 2 Super Bowls. I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame thanks to Tom Brady. That's what Eli can say. I'm going to be in Canton. Thank you, Tom. Why would I want to hate? Peyton Manning, the last 3 times they faced in meaningful ball games, Peyton won. You remember, Skip? The Super Bowl, the AFC Championship game in 06, they met again in 15, and they met in 12 and 13. So the last 3 meaningful games they played, Peyton won. So let's not get it twisted, Skip. Everybody is not jealous of Tom Brady. You think Romo is jealous? He has to offer an honest assessment. Nobody says Romo is jealous. Skip, no, you got to stop this. But as long as they take shots at LeBron James, ain't nobody jealous. They offer an honest assessment. They played, and, Charles is just so honest, and this one, and yada, yada, yada. David Blatt, he's the winningest international coach in the... Really? That's like saying somebody he's the best American football player out of Germany. Who? What? You got to do it here, Skip Bayless. You got to do it in the big leagues. So in other words, Eli is just saying, Skip, he didn't say Tom Brady going to stink up the joint. He says it might be bumpy in the beginning because everything's going to get condensed. Tom Brady doesn't know these teammates. And like you said, Tom Brady is not just used to throwing the ball up. Romo could do that. Romo could probably just come in because he threw the ball up to Dez and Dez would jump up and catch it. Okay, that's his game. That's not Tom Brady's game. Tom Brady's everything is on timing, is on repetition. You be where you're supposed to be. Well, he's going to have to retrain himself because sometimes he's just going to put it up and Mike Evans is going to jump up and catch it. So you need to get that routine down. That's all Eli says, Skip. We got to stop this notion that anytime somebody critiques Tom and it's not, oh, he's the greatest ever, it's hate.
We have had a parade of ex-players on Undisputed just spew Brady hate, and it comes from a position of jealousy and resentment that he's still going strong and has a chance to go win another Super Bowl at age 43, when all of the rest of you were forced to stop prematurely before you really wanted to. Your body gave out or your heart and mind gave out. You just couldn't stomach the grind anymore. And Tom Brady is on fire to play in Tampa, and he's talking about playing for 5 more years in Tampa.
He can play 10. Let me ask you a question, Skip. You don't mind me asking. Of the all-time historically great players, which one is played as well as LeBron in year 17 as LeBron is playing right now? Any of the historically great players, from Kareem to Will all the way back down, name the one that's playing as great as LeBron. Oh, that's right. Charles Barkley didn't play 17 years.
We're talking about Tom Brady, the GOAT. We're not talking about the phony GOAT.
You see what you did?
We can't let him leak into this conversation. He just contaminated a GOAT conversation.
No. Oh, no. You see what you did? See, LeBron James is in year 17, having a historically great season. When people critique him that didn't even make it to year 17, let alone play great in year 17, they didn't play as well as LeBron played in year 14, 15, 16, didn't even make it to 17. They're not jealous. They're just offering their honest opinion. Eli Manning offered an assessment of what he thinks is going to happen, considering that Tom Brady's heard one terminology for 20 years, have had a set of rules in how he do things one way for 20 years. He says, I think it's going to be a little bumpy. Things are going to be condensed, new teammates. Oh, he hating. Whoa, man, he hating on Tom Brady. Stop this, Skip. You perpetuate this bull jive, thinking that anytime someone critiques Tom Brady or critique his play or what they think the assessment of the team's going to be is hate. It is not. People can sometimes tell the truth and it not be hate, okay? But if telling the truth is hate, I'm a hating mofo.
A lot of players in the NBA have played longer than 17 years. So let's keep that in perspective. Nobody has played to age 43 at a high level in the National Football League, the high contact game that is pro football. So let's separate the phony GOAT from the GOAT.
Skip, the only guy that you can say that was close to maybe what LeBron is doing is probably Kobe. Probably Kobe, because Kobe played 20 years, and I think year 17, maybe year 18, he was the one he tore his Achilles, if I'm not mistaken, Skip. So stop. So all these other guys that's offering these assessments, they jealous. They jealous old GOAT James, because he's still going strong. And guess what? He said, I'm back for year 18 too, coming off the title. We're gonna win that title. They can push the season. They can play these last games in June, July. It doesn't matter. We're gonna win that title.
All anybody is talking about right now is the GOAT, not Brady, Michael Jordan. Thank you for bringing that up.
According to the latest NFL Power Rankings, the Cowboys moved up one spot from 11 to 10 due to their performance in the draft. NFC East rival Philadelphia remained at the 12th spot on the list despite winning the division last season. So, Shannon, how do you feel about this list? Did they get it right?
Hell no. They do this every year for the Cowboys, and it's for 24 years straight. 24 years in counting, Skip Bayless, for the Cowboys draft. Oh, the Cowboys, they won the offseason. Jerry really hit it out of the park. And every year, at the end of the year, this is what I see on the Cowboys sideline. I see fans in the stands. This is all I see. I see Skip Bayless coming out here talking about his coach. He talking about Dak didn't do it and this one and yada, yada, yada. For 24 straight years. That's what I've heard. And I'm trying to figure out, how did you guys get better? I mean, what did you do? Didn't the Eagles win the division? Yes, they did. Signed Darius Slay, Nicole Roby-Cobian, Javon Hargrove. They got faster on offense with Jalen Reagor, traded for Marquise Goodwin. D-Jack comes back. Alshon comes back healthy. Dillard, who they drafted last year in the first round, takes over at left tackle for Jason Peters. How y'all get better? I mean, the defense, what y'all do on defense, Skip? Who y'all DBs? Who your pass rusher? Oh, I forgot. Y'all waiting on one guy that hadn't played in 5 years and another guy that hadn't played in 2 years. Y'all waiting on them to get reinstated. And then we'll talk to you. Once those guys get reinstated, we're going to be on our way, Skip. Okay. Man, stop this. I know you want the Cowboys to be good, but this ain't the year it's going to happen. Because you know why, Skip? The bad juju going to get you because of the way Jerry doing Dak. Good things don't happen to bad people. You're jerking Dak around, and so guess what? The bad karma going to get you. It's going to get you, Skip Bayless, and I'm going to be laughing. Hopefully we'll be back in the studio. Hopefully we'll be back in the studio, because this won't do it justice. Me being in my palatial estate over here and have the Cowboys lose and you at your place, the only way I'm going to do the show for a football season, if I do it from your house, I need to see the look on your face when the Cowboys lose week after week after week and me get to enjoy it.
My turn. Speaking of bad juju, speaking of instant karma's gonna get you, John Lennon, What just happened to your Eagles? What just happened to bounce it to them Wentz? They just drafted my guy, Jalen Hurts, in the second round. You have a new self-inflicted quarterback quandary. I had to watch Carson Wentz yesterday try to argue out of it, saying, it's going to be okay. I'm okay. They believe in me, and I believe in baloney. They went and got a starting quarterback to be your backup in the second round. And Carson Wentz had the audacity and naivete to say, I have confidence in myself in that room. I know that I'll be the most motivated person in that quarterback room because that's just the way I'm put together. Wait until you get to know Jalen Hurts. You want to talk about motivated? You want to talk about dynamic leader? You want to talk about lightning rod team detonator? It's Jalen Hurts. Shannon, your guy's in trouble. This isn't about Nick Foles taking over. Now they went and got this guy in the second round. And yeah, they're going to use him immediately in this package or that package. And I promise you, he'll do very well. He will start to have an impact. And the fans are going to start booing Carson Wentz when he throws his first interception. You got trouble in Philadelphia because you have a huge instant threat to Carson Wentz. Clearly, Howie Roseman, the GM, and Doug Peterson, the coach, don't trust him. They don't trust his durability. I'm not sure they trust his capability to play big in the biggest moments. And they're going to fast-track Jalen Hurts to see, well, maybe we could segue to him sooner than later. So, again, you've already got a problem. I got a solution. I got Andy Dalton. I got a starter of a backup quarterback while my quarterback is holding out. I told you earlier, I think this will be the catalyst to get that deal done sooner than later. And you're right. Jerry Jones won the offseason. He's been spectacular. He kept Amari from going to the rival Redskins. He overpaid, but I'll take it. I'll take Amari because his numbers were still spectacular despite the fact that he quit at New York and he quit at New England and he quit at Philadelphia and got yanked. Okay, I got it. But he's still there and he's still really good. And then in free agency, man, you want to talk about beefing up with Gerald McCoy and Dontari Poe? You want to talk about adding a proven veteran in the secondary and Clinton Dix? And yeah, I believe Aldon Smith and Randy Gregory will get reinstated. And I just have this gut feeling they're both going to contribute at a high level, the way they have contributed before. And Jerry Jones won the draft. 6 straight picks. He stole players. And CeeDee Lamb is going to be a star. I told you that. This isn't a second guess. It was a first guess. I went on the record. He's the best receiver in the draft, and he fell into our laps. 6th on the board all the way down to 17. And yeah, do we need DBs? Trevon Diggs and Reggie Robinson, they can play corner or safety. They're big corners, they're physical, and they get their hands on footballs. Opposed to Byron Jones, who couldn't find the football in his 5 years in Dallas. So will the defense be better? You better believe it will be. Will the offense have top of the league firepower? Yes, it will. And finally, our 8-8 deadweight of a head coach, Jason Coach Clapp Garrett. He's gone. I got a made man. I got Mike McCarthy. He coached Joe Montana, and he coached Brett Favre, and he coached Aaron Rodgers. And he'll either coach up Andy Dalton if need be, and I'm good with that, or he'll take Dak to another level, and I'm great with that. So I love my football team. I love the momentum of it. Fox Bet clearly loves it considerably more than it loves the Eagles. So I don't see what the issue is. Nope, no games have been played yet. It's still 0-0 across the board. But right now, my Cowboys, at least on paper, are better than the quarterback quandaried Eagles featuring Carson, W-I-N-C-E, Wentz.
Skip, the Eagles starting quarterback is under contract. Your starting quarterback is not under contract. and you just brought in Andy Dalton, which you said is Jerry might like, well, hold on, look at this. Okay, as a matter of fact, Dak, the money that I was offering just went down because I believe your replacement right here. You don't think that's a situation? Your quarterback's not signed. You signed a quarterback that's been a starter since he was in the league to be his backup. Oh, but you don't think that's a situation. You think the situation that they got brewing in Philly is more dangerous than what you got brewing in Dallas.
No. Because Andy Dalton is no threat to Dak Prescott. Zero threat.
Okay.
He's just the greatest insurance policy you could ever have. If Dak wants to hold out and dig in and quote-unquote go to war, we got Andy Dalton. Right now, all I know is in his first 5 years in the league, he averaged 10 wins a league and he made 3 Pro Bowls and went to 4 playoffs. Love it. I'm good. It's just a backup plan. It's an incisive. If Dak wants to sign today, I hope he does. Andy Dalton will be no threat. He's a good soldier. He's a great guy. He will sit in the shadows and hold that clipboard all year. He'll play no games because Andy Dalton's plan is to go back on the market after next year.
And guess what, Skip? Jalen Hurts will play no games, no meaningful snaps in games if Carson Wentz does what he's supposed to. See, my guy is already under contract. All he has to do is go play. Your guy is not under contract. You got to get him signed. And it has to be to his liking or he's not going to sign it. And he's not going to be happy, Skip. He's not going to be happy.
Yes, he will.
What? You're going to franchise him again?
He'll be the happiest camper.
No, he won't. So what you going to do? Skip, you do realize, let's just say for the sake of argument, Dak signs that franchise tag. And you guys, for some ungodly reason, go far into the playoffs. You do know you strengthen his case. You do know what that means. This is your problem. You keep putting off thinking you keep betting against yourself. You're like, well, Dak gonna come down. Dak's gonna play bad. He plays better. Dak's gonna play bad. He plays better. All you're doing is betting against yourself, and it's gonna end up biting you in the butt. Watch what I tell you. Remember, you heard it here first. It's gonna bite you in the butt because you keep trying to penny pinch old Dak.
All I heard here first was he can't play. He's a below-average quarterback. I give him an F and an F and an F and an F for all of his performance last year. That's what I heard first from the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe. Dak can't play. Now, pay the man his money, says Shannon Sharpe. Which side of
there you go, Skip.
Over here.
There you go, Skip. No. Skip. There were games. There were games that I said he played well. But I also said there were games that when you gave him passing grades, they lost when they were empty calories. Now, it comes time to contract. You say, yeah, those were empty calorie games. But when I was saying that at the time, you were like, no, my guy's a warrior. You didn't want to hear that. Now it comes time to get paid. You want to use everything that I said against him. Dak plays a premium position. It's just like real estate. Location. In the NFL, it's all about position. If you want to make the top of the line dollars, play a premium position. Quarterback, left tackle, edge rusher. That's where the money is, Skip Bayless. So in other words, Dak plays the most premium position in the NFL, quarterback. And that comes with a big price tag. Pay the man.
Pay the man. All I said was I was honest about my quarterback. I've always said he's a top 10 quarterback. I did not say he's better than Patrick Mahomes. And I did say that last year in some big moments, he did not make the big play that he had made in previous years. He missed Tavon Austin wide open for a touchdown that could have tied the game at Philadelphia in the do-or-die game at the end of the year. They would have had to go for 2 to tie, go to overtime, but he missed him. And he missed a few key throws last year, and I can't defend that. So you don't deserve money that will keep you beyond Mahomes even after Mahomes signs his contract. You can't do that. You're not that great yet. You project to be very good, but not all-time Hall of Fame great. So that's all. We can win 12 games with him next year if he'll just come to his senses, see the light, swallow a little pride, and compromise just a little bit. He'll still be the top paid quarterback for a while, and that'll be good enough. You'll make exceptional money playing for a loaded football team. God is good.
The only thing Dak needs to swallow is a A5 steak with some nice wine after he celebrates this $40 million contract with $100 million fully guaranteed. That's the only thing he needs to celebrate, Skip Bayless. Don't do that now. Oh, now all of a sudden, he's not Patrick Mahomes. You was arguing with me at the Super Bowl. Jenny, you remember, we had a topic. Skip Bayless said he would take Dak over Mahomes, boy. And now all of a sudden, it comes time to get that money. You don't want to give him his money.
No mercy.
Well, we are just over halfway through the Last Dance docuseries, and we have heard story after story about how competitive Michael Jordan is and how many all-time greats consider him the GOAT. And we are through 6 episodes. And Skip, I want to start with you. And just for the record, I don't know if I've said this to you. It is so cool that you were there, living it, a part of it, experiencing that final year. But I want to know, when you look at The Last Dance, how much has it hurt LeBron's GOAT case?
To me, LeBron never had any GOAT case to start with. But Shannon, I must admit to you here today on Undisputed, I'm feeling sorry for you because this is officially your last dance. This is officially time to sell your GOAT mask on eBay. It's over. It's concluded because the floodgates have opened, or should I say the GOAT gates have opened, pouring through with opinion that is now deifying Michael Jordan as the all-time official game-over GOAT and criticizing LeBron. It has provided opportunities for us to hear from Magic, Michael's the GOAT. From Larry Bird, Michael's the GOAT. From Dennis Rodman saying, well, I could have shut down LeBron. This game is simple. He doesn't have any moves. We got to hear just recently from 2 of LeBron's former coaches. Mike Malone, now the Denver coach, was LeBron's assistant coach in Cleveland the first time around for 5 years. And he just flat out went on the record and said, in killer mentality, Michael was better than LeBron is. And we heard David Blatt, you can say there was bad blood, that LeBron got him fired. But he just framed it as saying, well, Jordan never left the same place. He won all 6 championships in Chicago. He didn't chase superstar teammates. He didn't chase championships by taking his talents to South Beach or going back to Cleveland and then to Hollywood. No, he just stayed in Chicago and went 6 for 6. And also said David Blatt, who should know, that Jordan was all about us, while he implied that LeBron was about I. Well, I've not implied that. I've flat out said that. And I told you when Kyrie left LeBron, a source very close to Kyrie told me he was just sick and tired, Kyrie was, of LeBron's stat stuffing and making it more about his reputation, his image, his legacy, than about winning championships. So all of a sudden we hear John Sally say, well, Michael wasn't human. That's why we had to invent the Jordan rules. And we heard Mark Jackson on SportsCenter last night, a guy who's studied LeBron from courtside, who played against Jordan in a Game 7. I was there at courtside for that game, Indiana versus Chicago in 1998. Mark Jackson just said, he's the best player on the planet. Charles Barkley said, he's the best player who ever played, and there was no shame in me losing to a guy when I stepped on the court with him. I just knew for the first time in my life, I wasn't the best player on the court. So it's been this deluge of opinions and a video of vintage Jordan that makes me feel for you, Shannon, because it's an onslaught that you cannot overcome. You can't argue your way out of this. And in the end, the last dance was LeBron's last dance as well as Michael Jordan's.
Skip, if you don't mind me asking, name another great player that when he stepped on the court, Magic said, man, it wasn't no problem me losing to Larry Bird because Bird was better than me. Or Bird stepped on the court and says, I didn't mind losing to Magic because Magic was better than me. Name the great player, historically great, transcendent great player says, you know, I don't mind losing. What player says he doesn't mind? First of all, what player says he doesn't mind losing? The mere fact that he said that, I'm good. That explains why he got no titles, because he didn't mind losing. So that ends it for me right there. That explains a lot. For David Blatt, how do you know, Skip, Michael Jordan said he didn't like the triangle because it took the ball out of his hand. If that's not selfish, they were imploring him. Magic said, Larry said, he needed to get other guys involved. One-on-one basketball. The reason why he loved Kobe so much is because he saw his reflection in Kobe. That's what he was, a one-on-one ISO player. Selfish. But, because he was so great, that's okay. Man, I can't believe y'all. This is what we come to. Y'all trying to dump on LeBron to try to suppress us. We're a nation of millions, bruh. It takes a nation of millions to hold us back. We coming, Skip. Nothing has changed. Nothing. Michael is done. His resume is complete. Period. The end. That's it. Oh, I forgot those 2 years in Washington. P.S. I played 2 more years in Washington, and I wasn't very good. LeBron James, year 17, still kicking. 2 more years than Jordan played. You do remember, Skip, last year he barely averaged 20. That was year 15. My guy, Go James, a hefty 25.7, 10.6 assist, with a nice almost 8 rebounds a game. That year 17, 2 more years longer than what your guy actually played. Now, you see the problem that y'all have, Skip. LeBron James, I believe, would have spent basically his entire career in Cleveland. I don't know. I don't believe LeBron would have ever went to Miami if he could have got Chris Bosh, or he could have got players to come join him, like the Lakers got, say, Michael Thompson, like they got a Bob McAdoo, like they got a Jamal Wilkes. Skip, you do realize Jamal Wilkes was at the Warriors, right? That's who got him. They got him. The Lakers didn't draft Michael Thompson. The Lakers didn't draft Bob McAdoo. They didn't draft Jamal Wilkes. So what? So if a team get other players to come, that's cool. That's team building. But if a player leaves and goes somewhere else, he jumping, he chasing rings. What's the difference? It's team building. What LeBron James did that Michael couldn't do. LeBron James empowered the players. Now you see guys, LeBron James is more powerful. That's what's rubbing people the wrong way, because LeBron James got something these guys never had. LeBron James has a Thor hammer, and when he swings it, the pendulum shifts. Skip, we need to stop this, Skip, because teams trade and move players all the time, and they say that's team building. If LeBron James had competent people that could have built a team around him, like the great Jerry West and Dr. Buzz did, or like Red Auerbach, Coach Auerbach did for Larry Bird, that would have been no problem. No matter what you think about Jerry Krause, maybe he wanted too much credit. I believe he was the shield for Jerry Reinsdorf's sniveling little self behind the scene. That's what Jerry Krause was. He was the perfect shield for Jerry Reinsdorf. That's who should be getting a lot more to blame. But Jerry Krause did a great job of building a team, Skip. LeBron never had that until he got to Miami. So with that being said, Skip, for me, I saw all that. The only thing I didn't know is all that behind-the-scenes stuff, and I'm glad I got an opportunity to see it. I'm still going to eat bacon, but I know how it's made. I'm still going to love Michael Jordan, but I'm glad to see what made him even more so. But GOAT James ain't going nowhere. As a matter of fact, Skip, we just stacking on. Just adding on. And you need to read the complete article that Mike Malone said. Just don't take that tidbit. Read the entire article and see what he said about old GOAT James.
I would like to refer to your remark about Thor, LeBron Thor James, swinging that hammer. And he said, watch what I can do. I can take my talents to South Beach. And he goes to South Beach and he joins forces with Dwayne Wade, superstar, championship Dwayne Wade, Wade County, and Chris Bosh, multiple All-Star in Toronto. And Thor goes to the finals and takes his hammer and he goes kaboom and hits himself right on the finger. And he shrinks and he fails and he disappears in the finals. That's what Thor did with his hammer. He pounded himself right on the finger. And it was over. He melted down like the Wicked Witch.
So let me ask you a question, Skip. I want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So Bird with McHale, Parrish, Dennis Johnson, and Bill Walton, they never lost in the finals. Magic Johnson with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, Michael Thompson, and Bob McAdoo, they never lost in the finals. I just want to make sure, because I just need context. I need people to understand that other great players have lost in the finals. Is that what you, okay.
This is about the greatest player. This is about Michael Jeffrey Jordan, and this is about a Jordan who did not love the triangle, and when push came to shove, as we saw in Game 6 at Utah, a game I was right there at courtside, Scottie Pippen was sick and he was hurt, and he was pretty useless. And Michael said, I got this. Hell with the triangle. I'm it. I'm the devil's triangle for the Utah Jazz. Watch this. And he played 44 minutes and scored 45 points to the combined 42 points of all the rest of the Bulls. 8 points came from Scottie Pippen that night. And who took the last shot? Was Scottie wide open over on the wing? I'm open. Nope, you're not. I got this. No. Oh, wait, it was Michael. LeBron would pass that shot up. LeBron passes that ball to George Hill. But Michael said, no, I got this. And he goes up and holds the pose. And it's game over, walk-off, literal walk-off shot for his career.
No, Michael.
I'm sorry.
Michael.
Yeah, it's just, he's so far beyond anything LeBron. LeBron runs from those shots.
Whoa. Michael Jordan passed that shot to Steve Kerr, but that's not the here nor there, Skip. But you remember when they were down 3-1? And LeBron said, 79-3, a unanimous MVP, a 50-40-90 guy, 50% from the field, 40 from the three, 90 from the free throw line. The only unanimous MVP. Down 3-1. LeBron said, we get this game here. It's on. And then he said, you heard him, they shook. They scared like some mofos. We going there and we coming back. And you didn't say anything. When he said they drawing up the play, he said, Ty Lue, let's put Steph Curry in the pick and roll. Get him on Uncle Drew. Kyrie, do what you do to him. Now, see, had Michael said that, because remember, coming out of the timeout, Michael told Steve Kerr he going to be wide open. He passed it to him. LeBron James did the same thing. And you talking about he was scared. He didn't want to take the shot. Skip, we here, Skip. The only reason you have intel and everybody's trying to suppress this uprising is because Russia and China, we not intelling no Cameroon. We not intelling Djibouti. God, you know why? God, they no threat. The threat is what you try to suppress.
Shannon, it's sad. LeBron had to pop up last week wearing his Space Jam 2 hat, the new legacy. I'm still here. Remember me? I'm LeBron James.
The man came.
We're sorry it's over, LeBron. You're the phony goat.
So let me ask you a question. So if the man eat food, he's not supposed to eat. He's supposed to just get his food through a tube because Michael Jordan ate off a fork. So he tried to be like Michael Jordan, eating off a fork. How dare he, Jenny, eat off a fork because Michael Jordan ate off a fork? How dare he ever be married?
Shannon.
He shouldn't even be married.
Shannon.
What?
I'm sorry, LeBron James is rated PG as in phony goat. That's what Space Jam will be rated, PG.
I'm surprised everybody said the only reason LeBron got married is because Michael Jordan was married. If Michael Jordan would have been single, LeBron would have stayed. You got to stop this, Skip. You keep this bull jive going because Michael Jordan did something. That doesn't mean somebody else can't do it or do it better.
No mercy.
So at the age of 53, Mike Tyson is still training and says he wants to fight again for charity. A clip was recently released of Tyson training, and his hands still appeared quick in the short video. Shannon, good idea, bad idea for Tyson to fight again?
Oh, yeah, for charity. Oh, I thought they was talking about he was going to fight for real, Skip, like he was coming out of retirement to actually, fight a legit heavyweight. Somebody like a Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder. Skip, because if you look at it, George Foreman retired at 28, came back at 38. Mike Tyson retired at 38 and trying to come back at 53. But if it's just for, but I want to know who the fool gonna get in the ring with it for charity. Yeah. I'm not taking them blows for no charity, Skip. Not even with headgear. No, ain't no way. No. Mike Skip. This ain't no situation where, Hulk Hogan and Sylvester Stallone in the Rocky movie, Skip. This ain't no situation like that. Do they understand? Mike Tyson, did you see those punches? Skip, that man can still hurt you, even with headgear, even with body gear on. No. Mike Tyson should not be fighting. I just want to know who the person gonna get in the ring with him for charity. That's what I want to know. No, Mike Tyson should not be fighting anybody for charity, Skip. Mike Tyson end up hurting somebody for charity. What's gonna happen?
Well, wait a second. Are you saying he could fight a credible heavyweight and be credible?
Skip, hold on. You talking about somebody that's You talking about somebody that's active? Like, I'm talking about like an active heavyweight. I'm talking about a legit top 10 heavyweight. No. Hell no. No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Allow me to disqualify myself. I've run into Mike Tyson a couple times in the last year or so. I like the guy. I think he has had some rebirth to him. I think he's been through so many travails in his life. He's lived like 4 lifetimes. And obviously, once upon a time, he got convicted of rape, and he did 3 of his 6 years of the prison sentence. He's had drug problems and alcohol problems and God knows what depression problems. But he seems to have come through much of that. I don't know him well enough to know all that, but he seems like he's in a better place. And I did, Shannon, I loved what his trainer said in the article I read last night. His trainer, Rafael Cordero, said, I believe Mike fought against himself for a long, long time. So do I. I think he did the most damage to himself. And
I agree.
All I know is when I watched that video, I was pleasantly shocked by it. In fact, I got chills watching it because I saw flashes of a 21 or 22-year-old Mike Tyson, like Cordero said. It looked shockingly powerful and quick to me. And to me, being a big boxing fan, again, Ali is the greatest, just untouchable, the greatest. But Mike Tyson was the most explosive heavyweight I've ever seen. And what he did in 1988 to Michael Spinks in 91 seconds of the first round, it was devastating. I'd never seen anything quite like that. That ball of fury and rage that was Mike Tyson at 5'10", I don't know what he fought at, 230, 240. He just mauled people, and then he started to maul himself. He fell into the rich and famous lifestyle, obviously, and it just devoured him. He lost to Buster Douglas, and I was there at ringside that night of June 8th in 2002 when he got embarrassed by Lennox Lewis in Memphis. And that was basically the end of Mike as we knew and tried to love him. And so it's been a long time. It's been 15 years since he last fought. It's been 17 years since he last won. But Shannon, it looks like he's on track to get in shape. It looked like he was carrying at least still 10, 15 extra pounds in the video I saw.
15?
But
man, Skip, 15. Mike Tyson, he like 280. He like 280.
No, he didn't. Not 280.
Yes.
Maybe 255.
No, sir. No, sir. That's 280. Oh, Skip, that man is solid. Look at that man butt. Look at that. Look at his back. Look at his backside. I guarantee you Mike Tyson is 280.
Well, again, when I've seen him in person, he did not look 280 to me. But the point is, well, you made the point. Can you imagine any other 53-year-old on this planet getting in the ring with Mike Tyson? Can you imagine Evander Holyfield? I'm sure Evander stays in pretty good shape. He's 57. Yeah. He's Michael Jordan's age. Would he dare to get back in the ring right now with Mike Tyson? I don't think so. Yes. I could be wrong. But you know what? If those two wanted to fight again at 53 and 57, I'd pay to watch it. I would. I'd pay. I'm sorry, I would.
Skip.
Sue me.
Skip, we've been quarantined too long because we want to watch a 57-year-old and a 53-year-old get in the ring. But let me tell you what, Skip. Let me tell you who else look good on IG. I get it. But let me tell you who else look good on IG. Other heavyweight boxers. You know what I'm saying, Skip? We see guys put out their little video and they work it out like, oh, man, he moving. Yeah, guess what? Look at those other guys. Everybody looks good when they're by themselves. It's when you get next to someone or you have to go up against someone that all of a sudden, like, well, damn.
I got it.
I thought he was fast or I thought he was good. Skip, look, if Mike wants to do this for charity, I get it. And I believe you're right. I believe he's had a rebirth and he did a lot more damage. 90+% of the damage that was done to Mike Tyson was self-inflicted. But Skip, man, Mike Tyson he's not fighting it legit. Mike don't, Skip, to go back to that dark place, Skip, because the thing, like you said, you're competing against yourself. Once people got past the fear of fighting Mike, it was a different ball game. Yeah. That's half of the Skip. That's half of any fight, whether it's a boxing, MMA, or a street fight. You got to want to be there.
Agreed.
Once you get past to that fear of wanting to be there, the fight's going to happen. Once people got over the fear of, man, that's Mike. Ooh, they're like, he a man just like me. He trained just like I did. And it wasn't until Buster Douglas. Once Buster Douglas beat him, Skip, he was no longer invincible and nobody shied away from fighting him. Up until that point, they were beat before they got in the ring. They were afraid of him.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. Okay, so help me out. Would Shannon Sharpe, who stays in very good shape at around, 53-ish, would you get in the ring with Mike Tyson for charity?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No. What kind of charity?
No?
I don't know.
What do you want? Shannon Sharpe Memorial Charity? Okay.
Dude,
would you fight him for, I don't know, $500,000? Winner take all.
I wouldn't.
Would you do that?
I would not fight. No, I would not fight Mike Tyson for $5 million, $10 million, $20 million. My health means far too much for me to me. What good is $20 million if I'm in a vegetative state? I'm in a wheelchair. That can't do no. I won't know. I'm not a fighter, Skip. He need to go fight somebody that fought, that knows how to take a punch. I know the fight game, but I don't know how to take no punch. I don't know. Man, look here. I think he might have thrown a left, I throw a right, and that left hook take me smooth.
Got it.
No.
Okay, I got to tell you, it took my breath watching him throw those punches. That looked like true speed and power. And I was shocked by it, that a 53-year-old could throw like that. Usually when I'm watching boxers hit the mitts, it doesn't look like that. That looked different to me. That looked a little 20-ish, Mike Tyson.
The thing is where Mike packed so much power is because he put his entire body in all the shots. If you look at all the shots he threw, all his force was behind it. He was dropping dead weight on folks. But Skip, you have to understand, just imagine those other heavyweights that's been active over the last decade, how fast their hands are. You know, when you go to a fight, Skip, fights on TV don't do it justice, how fast these guys are actually moving, how fast they're throwing the punches. Because they throw a punch so quick and it's almost like a snake. They've already snapped that punch and back before you were like, damn, he hit old boy. It's like you get a delayed reaction. It's like, that ain't tape delay. It's like he's snapping boy head. Nah, I want no part of Mike Tyson. I'm not going to pretend, look, I'm tough. I can handle my own, but I don't want no part of Mike Tyson. So don't get no idea, Skip Bayless. No, not for $500,000, not for $50 million. Zero chance I'm getting in the ring.
Case closed.
I don't normally share an opinion here, but no fighting for either of you guys. I want everyone happy and healthy on this show. Zero fighting.
I do that for my family.
Right. I'm looking for
No mercy.
not hide his feelings towards Isiah Thomas in The Last Dance, saying, quote, no matter how much I hate him, I respect his game. Isiah said he was surprised by MJ's comments. He also said, quote, I've never experienced that being around him. My son was wearing Michael Jordan jerseys and the Bulls jerseys that I bought for them. So Shannon, whose side are you on here? I was surprised by MJ and his honesty, and now Isiah's response. What do you got?
Isiah. I'm on Isiah's side. Skip, when I was a little boy, and I don't know if my grandmother said this or she got it from somewhere, she said there can never be freedom without forgiveness. And I think people look at freedom as being incarcerated, my inability to go somewhere, to do something, or freedom of speech, freedom of expression, or freedom of assembly. But no, your emotions, your feelings can be held hostage, can be in bondage, and you will never be free. Michael Jordan, you can never be free without forgiveness. Okay, Isiah may have wronged you by not shaking your hands. Maybe he said what he said was out of pocket, what he said about Larry Bird. But the man does not deserve forgiveness? Michael Jordan, have you not asked, got on your knees at any point in time in your life and asked God to forgive you for what you've said or what you've done? Have you not done that? I believe he has, Skip Bayless. This is a hole on this man's resume. Up until that point, Isiah Thomas had been an 11-time All-Star. Isiah Thomas was Finals MVP. To say Michael said out of his own mouth, if he can fight through the hatred and say this is the second best point guard of all time, and he's not on the dream team, we've heard so many great sayings. You don't have to like all your teammates. You don't have to get along. But as long as we're playing for the same common goal, to win the title, to win the game, that's all I care about. For this, you couldn't set aside your pettiness or your beef or your gripe with Isiah for the common goal, which is to win the Olympic gold? Nah, Mike gotta miss me. Enough of this. Time out. This happened almost 30 years. What happened what? In 1991? So actually it happened in, June of 92. So the final was in June of 92. They started playing shortly thereafter. So, Skip, we're looking coming up on 30 years. 28 years. And Michael's still holding on this. For what? You cannot be free. Isiah had this man's feelings, his emotions in bondage. He can't be free until he let it go. Forgiveness. Gotta have forgiveness, Skip Bayless.
Timeout. Maybe it's Isiah who should ask for forgiveness. I'm on Michael's side here. I agree he's a lifelong grudge holder. When he competes against you and he feels like you wronged him on a basketball court, he'll never let that go. See his Hall of Fame speech, his induction speech, in which he lambasted everybody who's crossed him his whole life, especially Jerry Krause. And yet, I still am on Michael's side here because as much as he hated Isiah as a rival Detroit Piston, a bad boy Piston, I'm sorry, I think you've missed the facts here. I've tried to explain the facts to you, that they chose the original 10 first members of the Dream Team on September 21st of 1991. They picked John Stockton to be the backup point guard, pure point guard, to Magic Johnson. I didn't have any problem with that because I viewed Isiah as more two guard than point guard. I was there that day at the fabulous Forum. What was it, Game 6 of the finals in '88, when Isiah went berserk in the third quarter and scored a then record 25 points in a finals game in a quarter. And after 14 of those points, he turned his ankle so badly, I didn't think he could go on. And he comes back in and scores 11 more in the third quarter. He was a phenomenal player, a phenomenal scorer of the basketball, a wizard with the basketball, but more two to me than one. So what happened when Stockton soon broke his leg after he was announced as the backup point guard? It healed quickly, but they announced right away, the alternate, the next backup to the backup point guard was not Isiah. It was his teammate, Joe Dumars, who was more pure point than Isiah was. So wait, Dumars is going to be on the Dream Team. And then finally, 6 months later, they announced the 11th man, and they went with another two guard, Clyde Drexler, over Isiah. They said it was Clyde over Isiah as a two guard, not as a point guard. And then to close this deal, the reason I don't hold Michael solely responsible for rejecting Isiah and making sure he wasn't on the Dream Team is the quote from Magic's book with Larry Bird, When the Game Was Ours. And I've read it to you before, and I'll read it one more time. Magic Johnson said Isiah killed his own chances when it came to the Olympics. Nobody on that team wanted to play with him. And Michael did say the other night on the documentary Would it have felt better to have him off the team? Yes, he said it felt better not having him on the team. And that was a team thing, not a Michael thing. So you're condemning Michael Jordan for something you should condemn the whole team for. Plus, I think the decision makers didn't want him as the backup point guard to Magic.
Whoa. I'm not going to let you off the hook, because when they asked Michael to play, Michael said, who else is on the team? That was none of your concern. Yeah. Do you want to play? Okay, he said, and Rod Thorne said, who you think isn't going to be on the team. Skip Bayless, stop playing with me now. You know, I've heard athlete after athlete, we don't have to like everybody as long as we're playing for the common goal. Look what Richard Sherman said about Nick Bosa. There have been other guys that have said things, but hey, he's on our team. We're going for the common goal. We will set that aside. This was the one time that these great athletes were unwilling to set dislike or disagreement or bitterness aside for the common goal. This was the only time. Isiah Thomas, up until they made that selection, was better than John Stockton. That's fact.
No, it's not fact. Not as a pure point guard. They were trying to make a basketball team that fit together. And any of those players will tell you that beneath the smile, Isiah Thomas was hard to get along with. So for team unity and fundamentally the way the team fit together, Stockton was a better fit overall than Isiah would have been as the backup point guard.
So let me get this right. So Michael Jordan was easy to get along with. Magic Johnson was easy to get along with. Remember, they took Larry Bird as a symbol. Larry Bird played 2 minutes a game. Remember, Skip, Magic Johnson had retired in November, and they took him. So I'm confused. Am I the only one that's confused by this? You take Larry Bird, who played 3 minutes as a symbol. Magic Johnson hadn't played since November. Remember, Skip? You do remember what transpired in November when Magic Johnson made his announcement. Isiah Thomas was one of the 11 best players in the NBA at the time of this selection, regardless of position. If you needed a center, put Isiah at center. Isiah Thomas was one of the 11 best players in the world at the time of this selection. That's fact.
When you build a team, you're not trying to pick the 11 best players in the league. You're trying to put a team together. And once you got Michael Jordan, you're pretty good. You're going to win anyway. And I don't think that team was ever threatened in any single game. So I don't think that team missed Isiah Thomas for 1 second.
Skip, of course, Skip. They could have said the next best 11 players, and they still were going to win. They just happened to have, Skip, they had the biggest name. They had the brightest. Now, I don't know if they'd have had this kind of impact, but because you had Jordan. But come on, Skip. Isiah deserved to be on that team. We know that. Mike, you can't be free without forgiveness. Can't. It's impossible.
I like that quote.
Lord,
not going to lie. Grandma's a wise woman. She's got all the quotes for us every day.
No mercy.
So Tom Brady was already kicked out of a Tampa park for trying to work out during quarantine. So now the 42-year-old QB has taken to working out in his backyard. Remember, this is Jeter's backyard. And included the pads and helmet as well. So Shannon, like, love, or hate this, Tom Brady is getting after it in his backyard.
Isn't that left foot supposed to go over the hurdle first and not behind the hurdle, Jenny? I don't know. I haven't done it in such a long time, but maybe this is a new thing. Hold on. What would Tom Brady normally be doing, Skip, if this was a regular season? Getting ready. Oh, it's May. He would be training. So he's doing what he would normally be doing. But Jenny, you know Skip hates when athletes put their video up. Just work out. You don't have to show us what you're doing, LeBron. Why would you have to put this up? Skip, why is Tom Brady putting this up?
I agree. I am not going to be a hypocrite here. I don't love it. I don't love it. I can't stand it when LeBron's doing the ropes. Hashtag strive for greatness. You make $38 million a year. You should be striving for greatness every day. And with Tom Brady, I don't need to see him working out in the backyard in the Tampa heat. It's what you should be doing. I get it. So I'm I'm with you. I don't want to see Tom post those videos. And conversely, I really don't want to see 35-year-old, 36-year-old LeBron James post. 35-year-old. I can't keep up. 17 years in the league. You should be doing that every day. Strong. You probably aren't doing it enough.
Going strong. And still going strong. If you stay ready, you won't have to get ready. That's what old GOAT James do.
Yeah. I might have to post a workout video later. You know,
not
you
so
never
much
know.
Of this.
That is it for us. Thank you for joining us on Undisputed. We'll be back same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Have a good day, guys.